hang it up in football. You know, every year it seemed like for about 4 or 5 years it's like, well, I'll just see what happens, and then by summer, okay, I'm ready to play, and then finally this year deciding to go through it.
It's definitely hard hanging up the cleats. I haven't officially signed any papers. Actually, was just in talks with Kansas City a couple weeks ago, and didn't really work out. But I mean, being able to walk out of football healthy is kind of important. Granted, the money would be great, but I mean, like I said, we have 2 boys, and being able to play sports with them and being able to do everything with them would be awesome. And I spend a lot of time around the house with them on these days, and it's not everybody gets to do that type of stuff, and I feel pretty fortunate to be able to do that, because I've hopefully managed my money well in the time that I spent in the NFL, and now it's time to cherish the family.
What do you plan to do? I mean, do you plan to invest and become a farmer, or just kind of farm the land?
We'll just probably, I don't really know right now. I haven't thought about it, but I'll definitely get into high school football coaching down in the Kansas City area. I had a couple opportunities this past fall to do it, and I just didn't feel the timing was right, because I come from the Coach Thomas way, and that's 100%, and you got to give everything you have. And I wasn't really willing to do that quite yet, but I'll definitely get into high school coaching, because I mean, what Coach Thomas did for me, I want to do for other high school kids.
In retrospect, now that you can look back, what do you think about Hayden's decision to put the sticker on in the midst of that crisis?
I think it was unbelievable. Denny and I went down earlier to look at the plaque and stuff down there, and I told Denny, I said, Hayden Fry is a smart man. I mean, he is a very bright man, and he did it for the right reason. He didn't just do it to do it; he did it for the right reason, and it was to get America on the side of farmers, and to get more knowledge out there. I don't think it had such an impact. I may be wrong back then, but I know with everything going on right now, they're really trying to fight to get it going again, and it's kind of neat to see the process being done.
When you were playing for Ed Thomas, did you realize at the time how legendary he was or would become, or was this just coach at the time?
He was just coach at the time. He was just a second father, just giving you knowledge to a lot of different things. He was a guy you could call if you were in a bind and needed advice on something. But yeah, you didn't know when you were that young what a special man he was. But I got to know him really well, and when he was announced the NFL Coach of the High School Coach of the Year, we spent some good times together, and I went back when they honored him at the school at a halftime of a basketball game, and we got done, and we were walking off the field. He gave me off the basketball court, gave me a big hug, and he goes, "I couldn't be more proud of you as a father." And I mean, coming from a guy like that, it meant quite a bit.
You can spend your retirement however you want. What made you want to get into farming and even part-time?
I kind of got poked and prodded a little bit by my best friend Jared. If I would have been wise enough to listen to older people, and I would have done it a lot sooner when I started making a little bit more money, but I don't know, it was just a good thing I felt, and it's a way for me to keep my roots in Iowa, besides, you know, coming back for the football games and stuff like that, but it's always a good out to tell my wife that I got to go up to Iowa to do some farming work. But no, it's definitely a way to keep my ties to the state of Iowa.
You've always been a humble guy, but your career is that of perseverance. You were undrafted, made your way, finally made it, you know, really with the Chiefs in 01 all the way through now, and you didn't miss a snap the whole entire time, even when you went to Denver. What do you think your career can show and show to a younger guy or somebody that maybe looks up to you as an athlete and as a person?
More than anything, that if there's a will, there's a way. My senior year, we played in the Sun Bowl. It was my last game. I broke my foot. At the time, it was a pretty unknown injury. It was called a Lisfranc injury. And I got done and had surgery over at the hospital. And Dr. Salzman was my doctor, did an unbelievable job. But I went to the combine, and everybody told me that I'd never play football again. And that just triggered me for some reason that I can't end that way. And one team gave me a shot, and that's all it took. And from then on, I just kept driving to get one step further. I was on the practice squad, and then I was brought up to the active. I kept trying to achieve more and more and more. And then in 2001, I went to Kansas City, and I had I'd say 20-some starts under my belt when I was in Chicago. When I got to Kansas City, it really just took off, and football was really fun then for me. And just, if you're having fun and you have the will to do it, you can definitely get something done.
Mm-hmm. You played with some great linemen there and great teams there for a while too.
Yeah, we did, and that's why one of the things, coming back to things like this, are fun. I have some old college roommates coming back. When we had the Chiefs alumni weekend a couple weeks ago, the whole group except one of the offensive line was there, and it's pretty special when you have that good of nucleus of guys. I mean, in Kansas City, well, we have one Hall of Famer right now. Will Shields will probably be inducted next year, hopefully. Brian Waters is a 5-6-time Pro Bowler. We just had a good group of guys, and it can be said for the same guys that I had here playing beside me at Iowa. I mean, Ross Verba, Matt Purdy, Mike Goff, I mean, guys who played in the league for quite a while. I mean, I've been pretty fortunate to be on some good offensive lines.
How close did you ever come to missing a start in the NFL once your streak started?
There were times where it was tricky. I tore some meniscus in my knee one year, had to wear a brace, but I fought through it. It was at the end of the year, so I kind of fought through it and made it. But believe it or not, last year was the most trying time, to where I was in the training room a lot more. I did some fingers and a couple other things, but you got to get by. 2 years ago, I don't even remember what game it was, but of course I had the streak going of consecutive plays, and Brian Waters, my left guard at the time, it was that late in the game, and the offensive line coach said, "I'm going to take you out, we're going to put another guy in, you don't need to be in." And I would have come out just because I need to listen to the coach and do what's right. But Brian Waters stepped up and said, "You're not taking him out of the game." And, and of course I didn't come out, but I mean, it was pretty neat to have a fellow offensive line mate step up, and knew the impact that it had on me.
As you were going through the NFL, I'm sure you went through trying times. Was Coach Thomas someone that you looked to for even advice as you're going through your professional career?
Yeah, I mean, I called Coach for everything, and I even called him when I was getting ready to get married. And I mean, I could call him for any advice possible, whether it be football knowledge or not. Coach would always come down to Kansas City to football clinics. He'd stay at my house, and I mean, it was fun times with him.
What went through your mind when you got the phone call, when you were first told about this, and what does it mean